This video is brought to you by TV.com. That's spelled with 2 E's and 3 E's, TEEVEEE. I'll have exclusive video content over there that I cannot really put on YouTube. There's a link for them in the description box below. So when you check them on out, tell them that ABO sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the effective end of the asylum seeking system at the southern border of the USA. Now, there is a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. So let's start from the very top. What does this mean? Who is it affecting? What's really going on with this whole situation? What is the reaction from the leftist media? How are they taking it? What's going on? First of all, international law, as far as I know, and if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below with evidence. But as far as I know, the law states that if you are an asylum seeker, you must seek asylum in the first safe country you come to. All right. We're going to enforce that law on the southern border, which means if you come from Africa, Europe, China, way south of the border, like Guatemala or Honduras or Ecuador or something like that, you can't come through the entire Central America, over oceans and whatnot to come to the border talking about, please take me, I'm an asylum seeker, I'm fleeing poverty. You can't do that anymore because you have to go to the first country you are actually at and seek asylum there, as long as it's safe. Now, what's safe or not may be kind of up for a debate, I suppose. But if you come from Guatemala and go to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, is safer than Guatemala. All right. So you got to be able to seek asylum right there rather than where you came from. That's just kind of how that goes. People are going to say, when I say people, I mean those on the left, they're going to say, oh, this is inhumane. This is going to be tragic. It's going to cause all kind of heartache and problems. But check it out. This is a legal thing. And it makes sense. Why overwhelm our system with these quote unquote asylum seekers? And then beyond that, most of them are not truly seeking asylum. Some are, but the majority of them are not. The majority of them are trying to use that whole asylum loophole to gain entry into the country. They'll do all kinds of things. They'll bring kids with them. Sometimes the kids are theirs, but a lot of the time, if not most of the time, the kids are not theirs. Maybe they're kin to them some kind of way. Maybe they, bringing your grandbaby or your niece or your nephew or something like that. But a lot of times you have human trafficking going on. You have children being kidnapped, bought and sold, all kinds of different things to help a person's entry into the United States. The whole game they play is, trying to say, oh, I'm an asylum seeker. I'm trying to seek safe refuge from my country of origin where it's violent and dangerous and it's poverty and this, that, and the third. So they come to the border with a baby and they're granted entry into the country, at least at the border station, the detention centers, or whatever you want to call them. Their eventual goal is to move beyond that point to get into the interior of the country where they have quote unquote family members at. And then they'll say, okay, I'll be here and I'm going to respond to my court date to get the whole situation straight with asylum or whatever it is. They never respond to the court date. They just totally vanish. And now you have an illegal alien in the country. That's the whole game they play. And most of these individuals, if not all of them, are just trying to seek money. They're trying to get more money than they had in their country of origin. Now, they may come from a poor country. That doesn't mean that they have the right to come into our country illegally or through a loophole to get money and half the time send it right back to the country of origin. Okay, you're going to make Guatemala great again by illegally siphoning funds from the US of A. I'm not a fan of that at all. Furthermore, a lot of these liberals talking about how it's a bad thing and how you shouldn't deny quote unquote asylum seekers or tell them that they can't come through the entire world to come to our border seeking asylum. They'll say that, but at the same time, what if a person in their own city wants to seek safe refuge in their house? How about that? It could be somebody right across the street and they say, okay, I want to seek safe refuge in your house. You give me something to eat. You give me something to drink. You help me to get through my everyday life. Are they going to be like, oh, sure, come on in, buddy? No, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, stay over there. And if you don't stay over there, we're going to call the police, sir. That's how it's pretty much going to go. These leftists are pretty much do as I say, not as I do. Now, the Supreme Court has upheld this particular thing from the Trump administration for now. In 2020, you're going to have California judges, unfortunately, review the legality of it. And if they decide that it's not legal, then there still may be a battle. I think ultimately the Supreme Court will be able to rule on this and say that it's legal and have that be what it is. I don't think the lower courts will really have the necessary power to overturn it. I mean, they could. If it's illegal, then they may be able to overturn it, and then the Supreme Court may side with them. But like I said, you have law already that's on the books, international asylum law. You must seek refuge in the first safe country you come to. I think the only hiccup here would be what quote unquote safe means. You know, I think Mexico, like I said, is safer than some of the other countries. And then also if you're coming from, way south of the border, you're passing through a bunch of countries. If you're flying over here, you're passing over a lot of countries, you're going over water. And my thing is, look, if you have flown halfway around the world, you must not really be in that desperate of a situation to seek asylum. I mean, come on. An asylum seeker in my mind is somebody that's like poor, destitute, starving, thirsty, this, that, and the third. Not a person that can afford an intercontinental flight. I've not even flown intercontinentally yet, and I am nowhere near being an asylum seeker or some kind of refugee from poverty or crime or violence, this, that, and the third. So how are you as a quote unquote asylum seeker gonna fly all the way around the world to get here? How are you gonna, get a ride or Uber, whatever you're doing from Guatemala to come to El Paso, Texas at the border trying to get in through quote unquote asylum? The bigger issue here as I close is that we have too many people coming into this country through illegal or somewhat illegal means, or through means that I seem to be incorrect by, abusing the system through asylum, just sneaking across, all kind of little different ways they come, people that got kids, people that have anchor babies. I saw one situation where it was this husband and wife on some kind of, I don't know what it was, some kind of truck. They were on the back of it for a long way, just getting basically trafficked to the United States. They get here. Oh, here comes the son randomly, a whole big 4-year-old out of nowhere. And then she's pregnant and has a baby here. So in the blink of an eye, you have a whole entire family of 4 just like that. That is pretty much the way it operates on the southern border. People are coming across just in waves and in droves. It's to the point where they're almost outnumbering live births of U.S. citizens every year. It is ridiculous. It is too much. Yes, we do have money and resources, but at a certain point, the money and resources are going to dry up and we're going to become second world, maybe even third world. You're seeing signs of it on the left coast right now, and we don't want to go down that direction, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that this rule is a good thing to prevent all these quote unquote asylum seekers from coming to our border? These people are not really asylum seekers. 99 out of 100, in my opinion. They're trying to abuse the system to get into the country to make money. That is it, and that is all. Okay? My heart goes out to those that are victims of violence or live in a very violent and dangerous area. But guess what? We have very violent and dangerous areas right here in the US of A. Where is their asylum? You go to the black community, you got drugs, guns, violence just everywhere. What are you going to do about that situation? Where is their asylum? Can they just come to some random person's house and say, hey, this is where I want to be because I'm trying to flee poverty and violence in my South Chicago neighborhood? No, you're going to get the police called on you immediately, and you might get shot in your hind parts for trespassing. But an illegal alien, oh, no, it's all good. Come on, no, it's fine. It's unfair. It's not right. If we're going to be lawful, let's be lawful. If I can't come into your house without being charged for trespassing, breaking and entering, burglary, robbery, or whatever, let's have the same rules apply to those that are coming to the border illegally, and let's apply international law to these so-called asylum seekers so they can't abuse us anymore. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.